This is a cold card. With this, we can easily identify the hypothermic casualties, and based on the severity, we can just treat them in the field. So just take a screenshot if you need. You see there are 4 circles in the middle, and also the card has 4 quadrants. The circles are the symptoms you should assess, and based on them, the casualty belongs to one of these 4 status, these 4 quadrants: non-hypothermic, mild hypothermic, moderate hypothermic, and severe hypothermic. And then you can easily just read what is written in these boxes, and you would know what to do. Okay, let's start. Let's say we assume someone is hypothermic in the field. We start checking the circles from the outer one, which is consciousness. The question is the person conscious or not? If they can talk, if they are awake, and if they are acting like a normal person, they are conscious. The second circle is movement. It's the second thing you should assess in the person. Can they move properly? Can they walk, or can they handle things, objects? So yes, if they can, their movement is okay, and if they can't, their movement is impaired. And then we look to see if the patient is shivering or not. Actually, shivering is a good thing because it's the body's mechanism to produce heat. So if the patient is cold and they are not shivering, it's a bad sign. And the innermost circle, alertness. Are they alert or not? In clinic, we check if the casualty knows about time, person, and the place to see if they're alert or not. Like, do they know where they are? Do they know you or their friends? And do they know it's like day or it's night? Just ask them a bunch of questions about themselves, about you, about where they are and what happened to them. And if they know, they are probably alert. Okay, so now we know how to assess the patients, and we start from the least severe case and we go forward to the most severe. So let's say the casualty is conscious, they can move properly, they're shivering, and they are alert. In this case, we just have a cold distressed person and they are not hypothermic. In this case, what we should do is just to reduce the heat loss, like by removing their wet clothing, adding some layers, and seeking shelter, hiding from the wind, and things like that. Give them some high-calorie food or drinks, but remember this: do not give alcohol when casualty is in danger of hypothermia. This may come as a surprise to you, but I will fully explain it in some other video. But for now, just take it from me, no alcohol in case of hypothermia. And then just make the person encouraged to move around, exercise, and make those muscles work. This will help their body to increase heat production. Okay, this is it. So now you know what to do with a cold stressed non-hypothermic patient. So in another case, let's say the person is conscious, they are shivering, they are alert, but their movement is impaired. Like, they can't really keep the balance and walk, or they can't handle objects. This is really interesting. Hypothermic people would really look like and act like drunk people. They would just stumble around and be lousy. This is the kind of impaired movement we talked about. So in this case, we have a mild hypothermic patient. And how to handle it? Well, gently. I think this means that you should be careful with them, because as I said, they are like drunk people, and just be gentle with them. Put something on the ground and lay them down, make sure they don't walk or stand for like 30 minutes at least. But make sure you put something under them and don't lay them on the ground directly, because this may cause them lose heat to the ground. So just put something, whatever you have, on the ground. Take shelter, remove wet clothing, and wrap them in whatever you have, plastic bags or foil, to minimize the evaporation and heat loss. This is better than none, but knowingly that won't be enough, so apply heat if you can under that wrapping thing to their armpits and chest. Remember this, that hypothermia is life-threatening and it's the fall in body core temperature. So if you're short in supplies, make sure you use them to warm up the chest and armpits, and just forget about the rest of their body, like forget about the frostbites they might experience later, because I think losing a finger is better than losing your life. So someone else's body warmth can also be used to warm the casualty up, but it should be done if they are not in danger of hypothermia themselves. Then just give them high-calorie food or drink. Remember, not alcohol. And the card says to just monitor them for at least 30 minutes, and if they don't improve, you call for help and evacuation. But if you are not a professional, if you don't have a professional in your team, if you don't have enough equipment, just consider evacuation and calling for help earlier than 30 minutes. Good for you. You now know how to treat mild hypothermia. So let's move to the next part. In this case, the casualty is conscious, but their movement is impaired, they are not shivering, and they are not alert. As I said earlier, the hypothermic patient would really look like a drunk person. So by not being alert, I mean, they may just act like a drunk person. They are freezing cold, but they may start taking their clothes off or talking nonsense. And they are not even shivering anymore, so the last mechanism that their body had to produce heat is not working anymore. So the situation is much worse, and we move to moderate hypothermia. In this case, like the mild hypothermia, you do everything you did for them, handling them gently, making them lay down, no walking, no standing, putting them in a shelter, wrapping them in something, applying heat. But in this scenario, you should just call for help immediately, evacuate ASAP, and also do not give them anything to drink or eat, because they're not alert and their movement is impaired, so they might choke. And so in summary, if the patient is conscious, they're awake, but they are not really moving properly, they're not shivering, and they're acting weird, you should just call for help, lay them down, and evacuate ASAP, and also apply heat. So far, all the cases we discussed were conscious, and based on other symptoms that they had or they didn't, we learned what to do with them. But what to do if the person is not conscious and their body is cold? In this case, you should just start basic life support. Check for their pulse, check for their breathing, and follow BCLS algorithm and resuscitate them if it's needed. Call for help, evacuate ASAP, and also try doing all stuff we did for a moderate hypothermic patient for these. If you don't know about basic life support, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is a very, very important skill. They even teach it in schools in some countries. You can save lives single-handedly with doing this skill. You don't need to be a professional. It's basic. Final tip. This may be really hard to say if a patient is severely hypothermic or if they're dead. Because in severe hypothermia, the pulses are weak and they breathe shallow. So if you're stuck in a situation that you doubt and you're not sure if they're dead or if they're just severely hypothermic, start resuscitation because they may be alive. And so congratulations, you now know what hypothermia is and you know what to do with that. Yeah. I will be talking about other cold-related health issues like frostbites and polar thighs and these things, and also alcohol myth in my next videos. Make sure you don't miss them, and remember, always risk safe. Bye.